Joseph got the vibe.
Money on my mind, I be on my own time.
Congratulations. We are now live from the living room. I am Jay Rich, and we got a couple artists in the building today. We got a super producer, soon to be super producer, Joseph, aka Joseph got the vibe.
Joseph got the vibes.
Right. Tonay
Marie. That's me.
You gotta say it like that. You gotta say it like you're saying like a candy commercial.
You know what I'm saying? Tonay Marie.
Tonay.
Get you some.
Sweet. Yeah. And you gotta touch your edges. If you're a woman, when you say it, you gotta touch your edges when you say it.
Get you some.
Get you some. All right, so you just said you about to move to Houston and get you some horses.
I said I'm about to go to Houston, get me some horses, ranch.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
you already got your outfits picked out.
Stetson hat. Yeah, I got some chaps, and have the ass cheeks out.
Oh, the Prince cheeks gonna be out. The Prince pants.
Booty prints out.
Okay, quite the visual.
I'm gonna oil them up, sit down. You know, you sit down and got the booty print still on the chair, like the booty marks. It's gonna be fun. I can't wait to move to Texas, y'all.
That sounds like someone is gonna be mad about the furniture.
No.
Unless it's a dude, it's like, yeah, it's like lipstick prints, but the cheeks.
No, like the lawn chairs. You know, like Miss Parker.
Okay.
You know, Miss Parker was out there. You know, she was watering her lawn.
Yeah,
I can do that too.
Okay.
I'm just not gonna have a bunch of neighbors though.
The phones are too advanced. The Zoom's gonna be crazy.
Hey, it's gonna be crazy.
And you're gonna have a crazy name for going viral too. It's gonna be like my neighbor Miss Cheeks.
Miss Cheeks.
Hashtag Miss Cheeks.
Hashtags Miss Cheeks.
Like she just watered her grass the long way.
The long way.
The long way.
Making reels and TikToks. Crazy. It's the generation now.
So, what I'd like to start with deeper questions to get the guys to know you guys a little bit better, right? Okay. So, in the last 2 years, what have you changed about yourself?
You want to go first?
Man, I've been fully Christian for about a year, and a lot of stuff changed. I don't drink, smoke. I don't even cuss no more.
Okay.
And I mean, I used to be debating on if I really should be working out the way that I should, and now I'm even committed to working out again, and I feel alive. And it helped me musically too, because now my health is a lot better. So it helps my creativity to expand.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. I can agree with that. Shoot. I was in the military for 11 years, and I've been out for a year, so my life has changed tremendously. But for the better, I would say mentally and spiritually, I got my shit together. You know what I mean? I'm more present. I'm present with myself. I do my meditations.
What were you before?
Before, I feel like I was just taking up space and time and air. You know,
really?
I feel like I wasn't, like he's saying he feel alive. I feel like I wasn't alive. I was just doing. I would stay so busy that I wouldn't even think about how I felt.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? Or I would.
Was there an epiphany moment that hit you?
No, it was a bit of everything. It was a lot of BS. I feel like I dealt with people.
Okay.
That kind of got me to a fed up moment. There was
What's
a lot
his
of.
name?
We said, what is name?
No, in general, just people in general.
I know, I'm just
you know, but I mean, I gotta, you know what? Just even saying him, my new project, you know, what I'm saying that I'm working on. It's a heartbreak. It's kind of a heartbreak of me coming into myself. So I got a 10-year history with my ex, and that helped me. That helped me write my project. So I'm not even taking it as a, as a loss or nothing. You know, it was a learning curve for me. You know, and
what broke up the relationship?
I don't know. You know, I don't really like blaming people. It's just a universal change. It was a shift.
It doesn't. Okay, let me stop you there. So it doesn't necessarily have to be blame. It could be. It can be.
Probably just like outrun.
Things
wrong, and then we changed, and it just didn't mesh.
I feel like it's a bunch of things. I feel like it was a lot of reasons, but I guess mainly just that we're two different people now, and we.
When did you notice the shift?
I feel like I've always noticed it. I think I was in denial because I was so infatuated with the love story. You know what I mean? So it was a lot of naive. I would say like a lot of naive things on my end when it came to us. When I truly think about it, but I gave my all. So you know what I mean. I'm not even mad about it. It was genuine. You know what I mean. So
yeah.
you know.
What about you, Joe?
Man,
Did you have an epiphany of sorts?
I mean, most of the time I felt like I needed to switch my life around. It was dealing with past pain from like other homeboys. For an example, I had one of my homeboys marry my ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
So that let me know right then and there I needed to change my circle. But then I had to hang out with other people who went through similar things but had to teach me that the type of people that you surround yourself with, if you're not careful, you will be like those people.
Absolutely.
There's a saying that a lot of rich people say: if you hang out with like 5 idiots, you'll be the sixth. And opposite also applies. If you hang out with 5 millionaires, you're gonna learn enough to be the sixth one.
Yeah.
So I would say just being around the right people, that's what brings the most growth. But that means you're gonna end up outgrowing people too.
And that's a hard thing for some people because it leaving bonds behind that you formulated but you've outgrown is a hard thing to. It's a hard thing to deal with and process.
It's personal.
It's very personal.
It's personal.
Yeah.
You can't get people to understand that.
The growth, yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't get people to see that. You know what I mean? Because it means they got to step into your body. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think people who really love you and care about you and cherish you are always going to respect that. Like, I'm a person that I disappear. So I get my mind right.
When you say disappear, do you disappear, like phone off disappear, or I'm in another state?
Everything, all the above. You know, I get up and go. You know, I didn't. I moved here last August, and it was a lot on me. So by May, June, I was back in Texas. You know, it was a lot. So, I don't know. It's always personal, and I don't expect people to understand. I just get up and go. You know what I mean? If that's what I need, you know.
When making the shift, the change, when you've noticed that you've outgrown a friend, an ex, how do you have that conversation, or you just kind of like slowly drift apart from them?
I think it's both. I think in between trying to get people to understand in those little conversations, you start to break away from that already. You might not notice it, that it's happening slowly. You know what I mean?
I started to notice a lot of things myself. What about you, Joe?
Man, with me moving to Atlanta, it was kind of easier for me not to have the conversation. Because this was back
Because of the distance?
Because of these were homeboys I had back when I was in West Orlando.
Okay.
But when all that stuff was happening, that was when I was already in Atlanta. So it was easier for me not to have the conversation.
Yeah.
So with me having that, I didn't have that. However, I ain't the only one that had to change. My mom is also noticing that because she used to be like a really heavy drinker, and now she's trying to still have conversations with one of her closest friends who still wants to live that lifestyle. And she tells me every day, and you know her friend is trying to adjust to that, but that's because that's out of love.
Yeah.
You know, one thing I've learned, and this is just even being in my spiritual journey with God, the people that are in your life, the people that you really have, they're going to always be there. If they're not there anymore for whatever reason, it's because they were never yours to begin with.
That's real shit.
Shifting a little bit towards music, I've been hearing a lot about people having studio rules and not necessarily rituals, but just the way they like their work environment set up. Have you guys ever encountered weird studio rules, or do you have anything that you like the way set up a certain way?
Man, I remember back when I was watching Suave a lot with engineering. The main thing that we hated was when clients would try to go past their time, but then like the owner, he would never set the rule of just like for an example, let's say you have a session from 5 to 8, right? You're gonna want to make sure everything is done by 8 o'clock, but the owner would never like enforce the rule like, okay, like 15 minutes before then we got to get everything together. And then not to mention when people come late to sessions on purpose, where it's like they don't come at their usual time, and then that's the owner once again, they'll just, instead of doing it from 5 to 8, they'll just do it whenever that artist come, and it'd be like from 6 to 9.
Yeah.
Like, man, that'd be the biggest pet peeve for me. Like I feel like if you're gonna be booked at a time, you need to be there. If not, then it's still gonna end at your time. But don't be trying to keep pushing it past your time, because then other people are booked, and then now you're throwing away, you're throwing out the whole entire planning process and workflow of the studio.
Well, I think that's a pretty easy fix for me because
You gotta get out.
it's simple. It's simple. And it's not negotiable. It's not negotiable. You see, they here for a reason. They here for the same reason you are.
Right.
And they booked this time from here. It's your fault you showed up late.
Right.
You don't show up to a movie late and you ask them to rewind it.
Right.
Either you miss everything you missed, or you just gonna have to wait till the next show. That's an easy fix for me. But that's one of my problems too. Like, pet peeves rather.
Yeah, it's
the easiest thing to do is be on time.
Yeah, it's a pet peeve thing, and a lot of people they have what is pet peeves in them, but they can't really explain it. I would say straight up, that's a pet peeve for me because I feel like it's more of a respect issue. Now, some people they do become late to stuff, but they'll
artists.
Yeah, like artists, they'll come sometimes.
And you deal with a lot of people that have never had jobs or had to be necessarily quote unquote responsible.
Yeah, now there's some artists that'll be late, but then you'll know that it's because something had just came up.
Like they're not usually late. It's like
they're not usually late, but then they'll tell you too.
Yeah, I mean, if you tell me that's
communication.
It can work. I can work around that. But at the same time, if I got somebody booked at 9 and you showed up at 7:30, guess what? You still gotta leave at 9. That's how it goes.
I think mine. I like private sessions, because my pet peeve is a bunch of people in the studio trying to sing over your beats and your stuff and giving you ideas. I don't like all that. I went to the studio recently with my homegirl, and her friend was there, and we trying to find a beat for her. I wrote the song, somebody else produced the beat, so we trying to find a little beat. And so, I'm like, I'm gonna say blah 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 blah. Or we're gonna do like this. We're gonna call it this. Trying to, get the vibe of the song. You know. And the girl, I'm like, what is going on? I didn't notice her friend was in the back rapping the whole time. I'm gonna be like, yo, I was like, okay, I cannot. Thank God it wasn't my session. But I was like,
the girl that you wrote for, it was her friend?
It was her friend. And the girl was rapping the whole time over everybody while they was talking. It's like, I get it,
Did she not know?
She just, drinking and all that.
It was one of those people that she knew, but you didn't get to know her at that time.
I've hung out with her a couple times, but I guess, some people, you can't expect them to take the studio serious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As you do. Like, some people don't know. She probably didn't know. We here on paid time. You know what I'm saying? Like, she probably don't know how all that works. So, she was in there going ham. And I was like, girl, just stop.
Yeah.
But even like, I just out of respect, like, I wouldn't be speaking in no place that ain't, you know what I mean? I'm invited. I don't know what's going on in here.
I've actually committed that sin. It wasn't me directly.
He said that sin.
No.
All is forgiven?
Well, so I like to, I kind of move like an A&R when I put people together, right? So I had a bunch of artists over here at one time, and we were working on a project, but I didn't block out the time because I got a studio in the back. So what happened, somebody called somebody and said, hey, come through, we chopping up. And I wasn't aware of that. And next thing I know, I'll go in the studio, check everybody out in there, and then I come back out here because I'm hosting stuff, right? And then I'm like, they getting on the track? Why they in there? And then so it's always left up to me to be the asshole. So that's the problem, though. That's the problem, because if all the person had to do in the room is say, hey, if you're not on a song, you got to get out the room.
Right.
But they always put that on me. And it's like, if I don't know, I didn't know.
Right.
Because I thought if they were in there, they're good. But I hear about it after the fact. I could have fixed that 2 hours ago. And that's where I was like, all right, look, if they're not going to be in a song, they can't even come over now.
Yeah.
Because you guys won't say anything, it's on me. And I don't have a problem being an asshole. It's just, you got to communicate with me so I know when to be
It takes a group effort. It's collective. It can't just be that one person or, the bad. To me, there's no such thing as none of that, good or bad. I don't really believe none of that stuff, You agree, disagree, because good or bad is up to perception,
Yeah. I mean, some people, it goes to your mindset. I've been on this book, The Greatest Salesman in the World, and it speaks mostly about positivity and shaping your mind and your reality and your perspective. So, for instance, a person would normally say a loss is just a loss. Whereas another person who have a positive mindset, it's a lesson in that, and it's a lesson that you learn from. It's an opportunity to learn how to win.
I've been into I grew up, Christian, Baptist, all that, but I've been real heavy into like Buddhist practice and Buddhism, and I think it's really cool. It's very peaceful, and it teaches you not to. It's very self-reflective, and in that self-reflection, it teaches you how not to judge other people in that. So I taught myself to be like, if somebody did something and I'm like, oh, what the fuck? I think like, damn, did I do that before? So I check myself first. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't need to comment on that. I don't always need to speak. You feel me?
Did you feel like you had to say something previously?
Before, yeah, because my pride is heavy, like a man. You know, I was in the Army for 11 years, and I feel like I possess a good amount of feminine and masculine energy. Was
that prior to getting in the Army or no?
Yeah, I think that's just naturally in me.
In the Army, just heighten it?
I feel like because it's so male-dominated, I feel like I had something to prove as a woman in a male-dominated type environment.
Gotcha.
So it's like, I can do what y'all can do. I went to the Army with scoliosis. I wasn't supposed to join. I get disability now, but my back is worse. I get MRIs, all kind of stuff. I got proof that it's worse. But to me, I stayed in the gym. I used to work out with professional bodybuilders. My back was big and strong, you know. So if there was something that I felt like somebody said something about in my head, I'm like about to prove it wrong.
Gotcha.
You don't know what I'm thinking, but I guarantee you I'm gonna do some stuff that you. I was a closed in child. I didn't really share much. So as an adult, I do talk way more.
Oh, like you're compensating for the shy kid? Or the pod kid, rather?
Yeah, I don't think it's compensated. Okay. I think I just be like, I got to say something right now.
Yeah.
But like I said, just even with those practices, they teach me to be careful how I say things and be mindful. And
you can say you can say anything you want to say to anybody. It's just about how they receive it based on your presentation.
How you say it. I think all that's important. It's all important. Shit, look at Donald Trump. You know what I mean? Yeah. You're a president. You shouldn't have time to be texting and all of that. I get it. You rich, and I get it. I get the ego of a person. You know what I mean? That rich, but at the same time, come on. You know how a professional to be a professional. Yeah. You couldn't do that in certain rooms. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that was kind of like his appeal, though. Like he was like the anti-establishment, but he's also of the establishment, and it's kind of weird. So that dynamic, it actually just captured so many different parts of America. Yeah. So with you changing your spiritual journey, Black people have this thing where they become the black sheep if they get away from Christianity. So have you experienced that?
Are you saying in general or like family or?
I guess both. Because I think strangers have a tendency, people outside the family tend to be a little bit more lenient and understanding versus the family.
I think sometimes it scares people. So a lot of times your personality is not for everybody. So everybody's not gonna receive you. No matter how good I preach of a good person you are, when you walk into this room, everybody is not gonna think that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I feel like what was the question?
Were you were you being pit as an outcast?
Okay, yeah. So I feel like a lot of people, they're like, what? Because that's always my answer. My answer now is always a spiritual answer. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that people want to hear. But it's like, even in Christianity, a real Christian, you feel me? When we talking about like stuff like that, a lot of people are not real Christians. Yeah. When you said you live a real Christian life, that means you telling me that you really live in your life. You know what I mean? A lot of people are like, yeah, I'm just Christian. But they do the opposite of, what it is. So
they don't walk what they talk.
Yeah, a lot of people, they don't receive it. They don't really receive it. And sometimes, especially when it's about them and it, registers with them, they don't like that, especially, So I've had a lot of people not accept it, but it's not my problem.
No, it doesn't necessarily have to be a problem. It's just more of a conversation, and also sometimes people have a tendency to project, especially when it comes to religious faith and stuff like that. Yeah. Is there a dynamic that makes you feel like it made you more peaceful, or just more self-reflective and more self-aware?
All of it. I feel good. I feel better. I'm more disciplined. And when I speak of discipline, like even just being obedient to God. You know what I mean? Like, God is still there. You know, I may not do certain things according to, you know, the religion. You know what I'm saying? But I got a relationship with God, and that's kind of how I move.
Okay.
You know.
Joe, with your faith being what it is, the type of artists that come in the room, and well, just people in general, you can be what's the scripture? Be in the world but not of the world.
Yes. Now, even though I do walk in that, I think I like to live just based off of the greatest commandment that Jesus said to his people. He said, love God and love others as yourself, and to treat everybody as your brother and sister. So let's say I have an artist and he's living this certain life here and there. I have to let the Spirit guide me with that. I don't have like a set like thing of where it's just like, okay, you know, the artist does this and that, so I can't hang with them. It's more of, can I be able to maintain a relationship with this person and not have negative energy enter my spirit?
So like boundaries, setting boundaries.
Boundaries is very important. Now, having a relationship with God, it's important to have that boundaries, because yeah, you could read the Bible and it's going to influence you to a way where it's like you're gonna know what you want out of a person. It's not gonna be like, the Bible isn't just something where it's gonna tell you, okay, don't hang with this artist because he does this specific thing. No, you have to walk. You have to walk based off of how you feel with your spirit when you're reading the Bible. Because I work with people who ain't Christian, and it's not because I don't want to make music that glorifies God. But like, let's just say my brother wants to make music, but he likes to get drunk all the time. The Bible says don't get drunk, but then what I'm gonna do is just push my brother to the side just because.
Understandable.
So I treat everybody like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Have a little fun now. So,
Fun.
Let's have some fun.
let's have some fun.
Sweet.
What is the most overhyped thing, movie, album that comes to mind recently?
Can I say two?
Overhyped?
Yeah.
I would say Donda and Certified Lover Boy.
Yeah, I know he's about to say those two.
Okay.
That's like the only albums that's been hyped lately, and I've listened to.
Meek Mill had some nice little hype too.
I don't know.
I mean, it's always like those major artists that on a certain spectrum. But even with Kanye and Drake's album, they coincided their releases were together, so it pit them in a natural competition and forced everyone to pick. Hence the hype train behind it as well, because you can't just say it's not about the music. It's okay, it's your fan groups against different fan groups.
Right.
So you guys both you say the same thing? You agree?
I'm gonna be real.
Low pressure.
I'm gonna say that I don't be knowing everything that's coming out. So those are the only two that I know of in the type of music that I listen to that came out. So I wouldn't say I don't know if it was like, you know, overhyped. I guess it seemed like because nobody else is really pushing it and that was really relevant right now, that nobody really cared about. Maybe that's why it seemed a little more hyped. Because I'm a Drake fan.
Okay.
I'm a Drake fan to the death of me. So I already was excited. But what I liked about what Drake did, and I know Suave had said this, he said it perfectly. He said, really, he gave us old Drake. You know what I'm saying? You go back, look at his stuff, his old, not even, October's very own, before that.
Right.
So Far Gone.
Yeah.
Like, he really gave us old Drake. So I felt like that didn't take a bunch of effort.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like he kind of put some stuff together, you know, that he already had.
One thing that I like that we kind of ran into that. So one thing that I've noticed with certain people that have a certain style, a certain fit, we want new things from the people that we love, but when you're the best at what you do and no one's taking that from you, is it really wrong to continue what made you successful?
No. There's a saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, that's like just going back to the basics.
Yeah.
Because I feel like as an artist, and the hardest thing for people to understand is that this is our life.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like right now, people follow artists and they make these crazy accusations and things that they think they know about an artist because they found out one little thing and now, they create this story. You following the artist. You know what I mean? If I go and I make a song that sounds like every other song, I'm just following a trend. You know what I'm saying? But if I make something and people ride my wave, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're following me as an artist. You're following my journey. So whatever it is, even if because I get the business, and that's what you got a team for, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Hey, we need to stay in this lane because this is where your fans are, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But as a person and as an artist, like, you change as well. So it's like the fans got to learn how to grow with the artist too. You know what I'm saying? Right now, we're looking at Kanye West going through a bunch of emotional things. You know what I mean? But that's personal for him. You know what I'm saying? But whatever he going through or however he misses mama, that's personal. You know what I mean? So,
I'm glad you said that. Do you think his growth is still directly tied to him losing his mom?
I think the only album that really put a lot of emphasis on what happened with his mom was 808s and Heartbreak.
Okay.
I think that was the album that, if there was a true album that was about his mom, it had to been that. And, Suave said the same thing too. There was other things that he said about that album that I can't remember right now. But when I listened to Donda, I mean, the Donda chant was one thing. They did confirm that they said Donda the amount of times that Kanye heard his mom's heartbeat beat before she officially passed away. So I think it's
that's weird within itself, because who's counting that?
that was something that they said.
It's kind of weird.
Who's counting the heartbeats out?
I mean, you never know. People have weird moments that they remember with their family.
You really don't know. But that didn't really feel like an album that was about his mother.
Yeah, it didn't feel the name, but I was hoping for more gospel too with it. I thought more.
Same. I thought when I heard the song with Andre 3000, I was like mad at Ye for what he did with his verses. You guys heard that late? Have you heard it?
Oh, I haven't listened to his whole.
So in the midst of them going back and forth and having that petty war, I guess it was said that Drake leaked the record, and he released a song that Kanye did with Andre 3000. Andre 3000 wrote a song about his mother talking to Kanye's mother in heaven, and it's beautiful.
Yeah,
as you would expect from Andre 3000.
Yeah, Andre is my.
Kanye didn't do the same thing, because he gave everyone instructions about how to write their verses and turn their work in, and put censors on them, right? But he made his verses. He put disses in his verse, and it made Andre upset. And upon hearing the song, it's like, why would you sabotage that would have been the perfect album cut right there, or like it's something that set the tone of the whole project.
I think because we know he's capable.
Who's that?
Yeah? Like Kanye. I
don't think so more.
You don't think so?
Not anymore. I think so. The reason I started writing the reason I wrote my first song was because of Kanye. So I am a fan, but I also criticize people I love too, with the
absolutely,
as you should,
judgment,
fair judgment, right? So I think he's been sporadic since My Dark Twisted Fantasy
for a long time.
That was probably the most demonic album he ever written. But it was also like the production was pretty good. But I mean, come on, the album cover just said it all.
So when I say consistent and sporadic, is what he stood for as a person, like the inner turmoil that we've seen him on.
Right.
We've seen him deal with the back and forth with his relationships, his public situations with himself, and then also the mental health issue, being bipolar, the outbursts, I guess the mad genius of him being a genius.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure to deal with, and then also you lost your mom in a very public way.
I feel like a lot of people, very smart and creative people always got something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody got something. It's something about them. Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? It's always something.
He was never going to be normal.
Yeah.
He was never going to be normal. I mean, you think about anyone else in that situation, no one could ever relate to Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been famous, since 5, 6 years old?
Since he was a child.
You had your looks scrutinized being racism. You have the Osmond family basically be the white version of that Jackson 5. You have your insecurities pop up from the skin color, big nose,
they even say
voice change.
They even say he had autism.
Really?
Yes, they said that Michael had Asperger's syndrome.
That can make sense. I mean, but a lot of people, what I've learned from watching different shows and like doing deep dives of like, because I fall into YouTube wormholes about documentaries and like different.
I do too. I love the little documentary. I be going ham.
Going crazy on them, right? But it's interesting. It's interesting because I've learned more about psychopaths, sociopaths, autism, with bipolar, all these different mental health issues. But it gives you an opportunity to see people as people that's dealing with things. And sometimes we just don't know how to deal with it, how they're processing it. And one of my best friends from high school, I found out like he was schizophrenic. And I want to say, if I think about it properly, I think all the boys in his family ended up being schizophrenic. And schizophrenia, it usually doesn't manifest itself until out of high school.
I had a soldier who I think her mom and her sister was. Her sister was in the hospital for it, but she would act out, you know, and I used to have a hard time with that, Honestly, the Army...
Did you know what you were dealing with when she was doing it?
Hell no.
Okay.
I mean, shit, as long as I've been in the Army, this is my last duty station. I've been to 4. I've been stationed at 4 places.
Okay.
On top of Afghanistan, I've been to Korea twice. But when I met her, I was already tapping out. I was ready to get out. So when I met her, I kind of was... I've always been a cool, sergeant. I've always been cool. I never was extra Army, cool, none of that shit.
Yeah.
I was strong, but besides that, I ain't even finna brainwash me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I treated people like people, and my only issue that I would have with my soldier, I had another soldier too, he would just leave and go AWOL. So the only thing I would be upset about is because they're black, and I'm very pro-black. And so I would just be like, look, these people don't give a damn. You feel me? You acting out. You doing all this stuff. I know what you told me. Nobody else know what your family got. You feel me? But nobody else understand what you're going through. That's why I'm sitting you down to talk to you like a person. I'm not writing it down on paper. I'm not trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm really trying to I want to know, are you okay? What you need? If you don't want to talk to me, there's resources. There's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just trying to figure it out because you do see those things. She had no work ethic. She wasn't focused. Every time I come back, she'd be sleeping. So it's not like she wasn't.
Those bouts of depression.
She couldn't work. And she would go off and snap.
So what did you do? What research did you do about that?
I didn't really have much research. So the Army has different resources. There's only so much that you can do. I remember I said something to her one time, and she turned it around and went and told somebody higher than me. And all I said was,
that's very scary to deal with, especially when it's not diagnosed yet.
Yeah. I told her that she was going through some trauma, some childhood trauma.
Yeah.
And I shared the story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let her know, like, you're not by yourself. You know what I mean? There's a lot of us going through a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But she turned that around into, she told me to deal with it because everybody going through something. And I was like, I don't even talk like that. But if that's how you want to perceive it, I just, at that time, it was so much going on. And I had another soldier who was also acting out.
Yeah.
That bothers me because
it's making you look bad.
We are adults.
Yeah.
You feel me? Y'all 20-something years old acting like this.
Yeah.
So I was tapped out. I just told, my first sergeant, like, I don't even want to talk to her about myself. I don't even want to deal with this girl. You feel me? If every time I talk to her and I'm trying to be genuine and it turned into something bigger than, so.
I mean, but when you actually dealing with a person with a mental health issue,
it's a lot.
It's hard
it's
because
hard.
All the people that had like mental health issues, whether they're medicated or on medication, trying to find the right dosage to get them functional and stable, where they also have the ability to be themselves. It's a hard thing to process, but when you're dealing with somebody that's you don't even have a diagnosis for, so you don't even know what you're dealing with. You just think they're spazzing out.
Yeah, because everybody was like, she's pretending. So she was trying to get a medical board, but basically that's when it's a medical reason. The Army put you out for medical reason.
Yeah.
So she's supposed to get a medical board, but when they were doing their evaluations, there was nothing wrong with her.
Okay.
So she started acting out. So that acting out was like, okay, now you over here throwing stuff, cussing people out because trying to say you crazy so you can get a higher percentage.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I knew that, but they didn't know that. So it's hard when you like, is she really acting out or is she really like this? Because, it was so much for me because I had 4 or 5 soldiers. So I couldn't take all my time to do all of that. We got stuff that got to be done, and I got to answer for everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot, and I think she definitely needed real help. And I wouldn't even say Army help. I'm talking about real help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
One thing that the thing that made me do a little research on it, A person I went to high school with, they ended up becoming the CEO, and they sent me a test that basically you have to. It's like a headphone test, and it puts you in the mind of somebody that's schizophrenic with the voices that they hear, and it basically puts you in. It allows you to understand them better. So from what I've seen, and somebody is listening to this or watching this, correct me if I'm wrong later, but with women that are schizophrenic, the thoughts that are in their head that are it's like having white noise in the back of your mind while you're trying to talk, or hearing voices talk, simultaneous voices, conversations while you're trying to talk to somebody. It's very difficult to do. And with women, it tends to be more self-hatred, like voices and self-doubt, and they're basically tearing themselves down. Like if they twist anything that you say, like, "Oh, your hair looks nice today." Does my hair not looks nice? Yes.
Every day, right?
Wait,
yeah.
And then it's like, wait, she just saying that. Wait, what did you want from me? That's basic. And then you have it in the headphones. It's like, yo, that's weird.
Yeah.
So with men, it seems to manifest itself as more aggressive thoughts, as far as like being more violent, more volatile.
And do you think that's because being a man means you don't really have the outlet? You can't really be emotional and vulnerable. You think that's part of it?
I don't know with that in that diagnosis in particular, but I think it may have to do with something as simple as genetics with estrogen versus testosterone levels.
Right.
But I can't speak to that for certain.
Yeah,
that's just an idea. But for my friend, it was really jarring for me to see him that way, because I'm talking about like you being in the military. Guys can have facial hair, everything dressed and tucked in, nice and neat. That's how he presented himself from elementary school to the day we graduated, right? I see this guy, and he always spoke with confidence. And when I saw him, his beard was patchy. I've never seen him with facial hair. His haircut didn't have one. Everything he said was at a whisper. I didn't look in his eyes and see the person that I went to school with, and it hurt me because I didn't know how to talk to him, and it was just so weird. But then I found out what happened to him, his brothers, and then his older brothers and younger brothers. Like, oh, okay, I had to learn. But it was an educational moment for me.
I look at everything spiritually. To be honest, it's just a lot of demonic things. You know what I mean? That be going on with people that we just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I've dealt with stuff like that.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. So, what changed for you between Eat It and Let Me Speak My Piece?
So when I wrote Eat It, that was really on some relevancy type vibe.
Okay.
It was just relevancy in music. I've always had a battle with liking my voice. I don't know why.
Everyone does that. That's a human thing.
Yeah.
That's a human thing.
I've never liked my voice. So
my voice is too clean to me.
Really? You think so? Like, you mean like it ain't got an accent enough, or like it ain't like?
No, I like all the voices. Probably like Ludacris. Like my voice is the same.
Oh, I know.
Like that is like very clean. Hip hop voices I always like DMX. They got a little grit into their voice, like a little pain, like Jadakiss.
Yeah.
I like signature voices like that.
Yeah.
Like my voice is very. I read the announcements.
That's necessary, though.
Yeah.
That's necessary.
Yeah, but I've learned to understand what I sound like to other people and myself, and you embrace yourself, you learn yourself.
Yeah, I think I don't know.
Man,
Content wise,
people used to say I sounded robotic.
you sound like you measure twice and cut once when you speak. That's a good thing, though.
No, it is. I learned. I used to have this ugly little accent, but when I joined the military, you get tired of people being like,
Florida.
you get tired of people being like, what? No, Tennessee.
Okay.
Ugly accent. You're like,
Mine comes and goes.
yeah, it just depends. Like, if I was around my family and stuff, then
That's
definitely
what mine
it'd come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if I'm just around a bunch of country ass motherfuckers, I'm like, I'm enjoying myself. I don't give a damn.
I said, yeah, it just happens. You don't
Yeah.
do it because it's natural.
It's a
You do
vibe.
as Romans do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
so
vibe.
I remember because my best friend's in Cali, and I was describing something. I said every which way, and she never heard that before.
Yeah.
And then she always points it out because she's from another region. So she points out how country I am when I throw out country phrases. I'm like, hey, you want to see what the hell I miss?
I be saying vehicle. Yeah. Yeah, the vehicle. It's hard. It's like I can't get it out of my head. Like, yeah, I say car sometimes, but I'll say vehicle.
You say car like the Parkers. Get the core.
I guess I think it just depends. If I'm not paying attention, I'll probably say it like that.
Okay.
Because somebody told me I said arms.
Dang.
Arms. Is it not arms?
Oh my God, that's funny. It'd be subtle things like that. Be funny though.
Yeah, it'd be small stuff. You don't pay attention to it, and
Yeah,
then when you say it again, you say it correctly.
Right. So with me, I think I just learned how to say ask properly.
Ask.
Yes. Because most people say ask.
You're right.
And phonetically, until you hear it properly, you have to hear it properly, take it out of your muscle memory, and then learn the right way. And that's a hard thing to do when you built up the bad habit for so long.
Yeah, the fact that he don't cuss, I'm like, I don't know if I can start cussing. I've tried
You can.
whole life. I've tried to stop cussing, but I feel like I just do it. It's a part of it. I feel like it'd be a part of me. Like it's in my music. It's in how I talk. You know.
I'm gonna say this. I have not found not one scripture in the Bible about profanity. Now, the reason I'm saying that because I don't want people to think that it was just for a spiritual reason. This is what I learned when I stopped cussing. It was harder for me to be mean to people. Cause think so? Like think about it. Like if I'm like for an example, let's say Tonay, she just going absolutely wild. She just spitting in my face, right? You know, like back then I'll be like, I was like, God. But then if you take those words out of your vocabulary, now you got to think about like, okay, what can I say now that can reflect my anger without me cussing? And all of a sudden, I just calm down.
See,
I just let it go because I'm not about to do that to myself.
I say like, what the funk? I do stuff like that, but it just makes me laugh.
It just makes me laugh, and then I don't need to be mad at you no more.
Yeah.
No, we had cuss words as kids because we couldn't cuss around our family, the elders. So we had to say, instead of saying shit, we'd say all skit.
That sounded very country.
Bullshit.
No, that was actually from the Midwest though. That's from the Midwest. I got that from like Wisconsin.
Yeah,
but
say it
again.
I've heard it before.
Oh, you heard it before? Okay. We said squirrel no instead of hell no. It was so weird, but it's like how like families have a little lingo and
I said bullshit. But I'm saying stupid stuff. Bullshit.
That's funny.
Because like in the movies, like in the black movies on BET, they're like, don't say another mother-loving word.
Mother-loving word.
Brother lover here. I can't take you serious. I can't respect your gun with
funny,
that.
I like stupid stuff. So that kind of stuff. I used to say, what's somebody say? I used to say I'm dead. And I did not like that at all.
That phrase?
Yeah, I do not like that phrase. I used to be like, I'm dead. But I used to catch myself and be like, why do I say that? So then I started saying, I'm weak. But then even when I be saying that, I'm like, I'm not weak.
Man, I just be like, man, I'm hollering. I'm on the flow.
Yeah, you be trying to switch it up.
You do sound like a Google voice. I'm hollering. I'm weak. It's the fact that you said it without blinking and minor face twitching.
It's like get the Urban Dictionary to let him translate.
That would be great.
That means.
That would be great.
Shake that ass.
What is in your for?
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
What is in there?
You know what I'm saying?
Anytime black people pull out some aluminum foil, I feel like it's going to be a hellified snack. What is that, an edible?
You want a piece?
I know.
Man, I put so much aluminum foil. Man, I remember one time I was going to like school and I had like some chicken. I was eating in class, bro.
All right, so how long does it take for the edible to kick in?
At least 30 minutes.
30
minutes. Y'all got into a science, huh?
Because I smoke.
Okay.
Now, I've never smoked in my life, so I got out the Army.
Okay.
So I've been smoking for a year and some change now.
What did it open up about you or change?
Well, I don't drink anymore.
Okay.
I used to be an alcoholic.
Like a real alcoholic?
Like a real one.
Is that an Army thing?
It's definitely the culture.
Man, it's definitely an Army thing, man.
Army people, like.
It's the culture,
really?
but my granny recently told me that it runs in my family. I didn't know that because I used to always say, I'm the only one that drink. I don't know nobody else. My granny said, on my grandfather's side, everybody drink.
Okay.
So, I mean.
Well, that's probably what I barely do. I don't smoke.
But that's a culture thing, man.
It's a culture, yeah. I drink.
What I noticed with my family, we have a problem with moderation.
Right.
And even myself, everything in moderation. So it's either you're a workaholic, you eat too much, you work out too much. We don't do moderation at all.
Yeah.
So you add in chemicals, and then you talk about coping mechanisms for like other things that's going on, addiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just had a bunch of trauma. I had a bunch of childhood trauma. Then
Were you trying to rectify it or just numb yourself?
Just know myself. I when I took counseling, she told me it was called I compartmentalize. She said I compartmentalize things. She said you've probably done it so much you don't notice it. So I can have a problem that exists, very much exists, but I can walk around like it does not exist, and I think that is something we all do as adults. You know, we learn to save face. There's still a child in our body. You know what I'm saying? So we still react in very childlike ways. So when you're trying to nurture that child, you know what I mean, within you, I don't know. I think you just kind of, I'm trying to say, for real. I'm trying to say, but when I used to drink, right, I used to have such a good time. Okay. Right? I used to have such a good time. But then, you know, when you have that next day, you really still unhappy. Like, you didn't resolve the problem. So whenever people would be like, you drinking too much, I used to be like, everybody drink too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck, you know? But really, now I've been in sober centers, jail, hospitals, woke up in the hospital. I had a video that went viral of me, and it got to my godparents. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they saw it. So I had a problem. I was laid out at a party at a table. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't move me. I wasn't breathing. People were scared. They called the ambulance. People picking me up. You know what I'm saying? So it just come to a point where you gotta really want the change. To be honest, it has nothing to do with nobody else. It's personal. Cause I used to be like, I'm never gonna drink again. That's not realistic. I wasn't being realistic with myself. I was just saying things to make it seem like I was doing it.
You're trying to desensitize yourself to how bad the situation is.
Yeah, I was like, oh well, blah 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 blah, or I'm going to it. Ain't nobody tell me this. You know, it was a lot of hidden anger. Cause I've always been a happy person. Anybody who know me, they used to be like, I never seen you complain. I never seen you not working. I never seen, you know what I mean? People always see me on my best behavior besides when I was drinking. You know what I'm saying?
But that's I guess it's like that was the person analogy will escape itself. Or
yeah.
Get out.
And so now, when I look back now, I feel like I lived in different lifetimes. Like, I was definitely a different person back then. I'm a totally different person now. So even alcohol stinks to me. You know what I mean? People got alcohol in their breath, or if I smell it, I'm like, And I drink wine from time to time, but I have to be in the mood for it. I just don't have a desire. It's just a promise that I made to myself. I don't want to go through the shit in my 30s that I went through in my 20s. And I'm 30 now. Right. And a lot of changes have occurred. So I got to stick to that change because, you know, the goal is to be a better version of yourself. Yeah. And that's just how I'm living for real.
Yeah, alcohol never really tasted good to me. But the thing is, I grew up with alcoholic stepfather. And my mom, she would drink a lot too. So I'm not saying that was just like the only thing. Just growing up with just kids my age doing that too, just seeing everybody doing it, that was enough influence already. But then it's like when you get to a certain point in life and you're trying to just find happiness, you're just gonna try it just because you know it's right there. So I tried it. I used to get drunk a lot at 15 and 16. My mom, she walked in my room one time and she found this book bag that I used to carry in school, and she noticed I stopped carrying it. And the reason why, because it was 20 beer bottles that was in there. Whoa. Yes. And, you know, my mom, she helped me and whatnot, so I stopped drinking as much. But see, alcohol never tasted good. But the reason why I was drinking it, because there was so many things that I was trying to process for myself. Like, for an example, that was around the time when I realized I had autism. My mom, she told me I got diagnosed with it at 2, but she never talked about it until I was 15. And what led to that conversation was I noticed someone that had autism, but instead of like me doing what he does exactly, his symptoms were more severe, so it was shown in public. People wouldn't know that I have it.
Yeah, I would never know.
People still, to this day, if I tell them I have autism, they're like super shocked. Because it's just not that present. But when I knew that, I realized that people saw me differently than what I used to see myself. I used to see myself as someone that could be easily understood. But then now I'm seeing that all these symptoms I'm reading on the internet was true. So now I don't even know how to take it.
So do you accept it? Like, do you believe that is true about yourself?
I feel like back then I was already into a tough space for me to be able to say that I could accept the fact that this is how God made me to be. Because, you know, for me to have to do that, that means all the self-esteem issues that happen from just when kids would just like bully me and trip me in hallways and stuff like that. That means all that had to go away, and that was way before I even knew I had autism.
So what triggers did you have you identified your triggers, like things that would like set you off, like loud noises, sporadic noises, large crowds?
I remember back when I was like 11, where loud noises would drive me insane. Now, loud noises don't bother me no more. I feel like most of the symptoms, I think I just outgrown them.
Okay.
I think God healed me from autism to a sense, because a lot of those symptoms I didn't have no more. But what I would notice, like for an example, you see like how I'm talking to you and Tonay, just looking at you in the eye. Back then I'd just be like looking up in the ceiling. I used to think that was normal.
Yeah.
Because I just thought like, okay, that's just
That was your form of communication.
That was my form of communication. I even now as a swim instructor, I see kids that are very nonverbal. They still can't speak now. And I used to be nonverbal till I was 6 years old. And it helped me understand a little bit better just like how I think adults and maybe children saw when I was a child that I used to think was normal.
Did you think it ever affected your sense of humor? Like you would be more literal, so like things like sarcasm or like jokes would go over your head?
I'm pretty sure I had those experiences, but I think a lot of the stuff that I went through in middle school, a lot of it I don't really remember.
Okay.
Because it's just like, this just middle school stuff.
Gotcha.
But but the biggest thing is when I went to therapy for it. I had to go to therapy for a lot of things in my life. And to be honest, if I didn't, I probably would still be drinking and smoking and doing all that stuff. Because a lot of that came from pain. I think we talked about it before. Remember, I told you about just, having my dad pass away at 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the sexual trauma at 16, all that stuff here. All of that stuff, it added on to me having to deal with the realization that I was autistic. So you have to go to therapy and counseling for these things. You have to. And what I see now, and just like in the Christian community, is like, okay, you're supposed to just go to God and that's it. No, the Bible clearly says that you're supposed to confess to other people for healing. But the thing is, you're not just going to talk to somebody that's just insensitive and not trained to be able to handle conversations that are deep. That's why you go to professionals.
That's exactly what I said to my family.
Yeah.
Or friends, anybody that listen to me.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you can't talk to your friends, but then again,
it's different because the reason why I say that, not to cut you off, but it's different when you're talking to somebody that has a stake in your life and they don't want to lose their position, because sometimes it's like goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like sometimes your growth means they can't go with you.
Right.
So that might affect the advice that they give you. And then also you talking to a person that has problems and trauma and they're not equipped to give you objective information.
Right.
So they're not going to give you the same conversation or ask the same questions that a therapist would. Because mentally they're not present enough to be there.
Yeah, I've never met a very spiritually mature person that was still emotionally immature because they haven't dealt with their pain yet. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the Christians they'll say all this stuff, they be preaching all this stuff, they don't really walk it, but it's not just because they don't want to walk it, it's because there's so many things that's happened in their life that makes it impossible for them to even walk that life. Mm-hmm. That's why the only successful people you see out there that's living the Christian life is people that dealt with the pain that they had. And we kind of made pain very, like it has to be super big for people to really care about it. No, it's something as simple as heartbreakers. You just being simply offended at the gas station. Yeah. That could really set you off in a way that you don't know yet. And unless if you don't talk to a therapist about this stuff, you'll never reach to your full potential.
A lot of people.
So go ahead. Go ahead.
No, they'll say a lot of people. I feel like they can't understand because they're so dismissive.
Yes.
Of anything, the signs and everything. Because people get signs. People know when stuff happen to people. Mm-hmm. You see it every day. You notice. It's like you say your mama noticed you stopped carrying the bag. Like, people notice stuff if they choose to. But like you said, people are still dealing with their own issues. And their problem is, I feel like people are always trying to fix other people first.
Yeah.
You know, instead of looking inward first. The only way that you can really fix, to me, in my opinion, a lot of people's insides is if you fix yours, so that now everything that you're telling them is literally you speaking in a complete direct reflection. Like, I'm not telling you nothing that I wouldn't have done myself. I'm telling you you can because X, Y, Z.
When you guys talk to people about therapy, do you guys get a lot of pushback or say, "Oh no, that's something Black people don't do that"? Because it feels like that whole stigma seems to be shifting.
I feel like it has been pushed, but then when you get to a point where you're just so tired of the situation that you're in, you realize that what you've been doing now hasn't been working already. So I think eventually all of that talk that's out there in the world, I think that gets pushed to the side, and you start thinking about, is this going to keep affecting my future if I go to therapy, or is this actually going to change it?
I'm gonna say this will bother me personally, from personal experience of mine. Before I took counseling, I thought it was stupid, right? And I'm gonna say, I thought it was stupid because as a Black woman, I don't feel like this white woman gonna help me.
Right.
You feel me? So when when a lot of people speak of therapy, I think a lot of people don't like it because we're speaking of professionals. I can literally sit here every day and listen to you talk, and that's therapy. You can literally sit here and draw, and I can write a song, and that is therapy. I think that people are so big into trying to coach people into these 1, 2, 3 steps of how things should be and how they should handle things.
Yeah.
And I think that's what confuses things, because now comparison is a thief of joy, and that's a fact. So now I'm comparing my journey with yours. I can't even appreciate or fix or, you know what I mean, with my own journey, because I'm like, damn, well, so they went and got a new house and they went and got this together, but I'm still, you know what I'm saying? So I think all of that messes with us. I think this whole society has messed with everything. And I wanted to say about sickness. I feel like a lot of times, I like that you said, I feel like God healed me. But, you know, it's like I feel like a lot of people live in a pain body. So they claim stuff. They speak sickness over their life.
I've been telling people get annoyed with me. And you said it earlier when you were talking about, I'm weak, I'm dead. I tell people, be careful what phrases you use, because it permeates in your mind and sticks in your subconscious. Right. And then you keep recreating these same trauma patterns. You claim it, you got it. And that's where like the power of positivity and having a mindset of understanding what you want to have come your way. If you speak positive things, you're going to find yourself in more positive situations. You're going to find yourself meeting new people that have the same energy or the energy you're looking for, versus saying the same old pattern. You keep sticking around the same people, the same pattern. You keep repeating the same pattern. You're going to get the same things. But it's very subtle. It's just like what you said with your mom identifying you not picking up the book bag, and then you pointed out. It's always something small and subtle, but we don't see it. And then it's like goes back to what you said earlier as well. A lot of times people don't understand pain unless it's like they can see the wound. When it's a pain of the mind, a pain of the body, if they don't see the injury, they don't understand it as an injury.
A lot of people in the military, what I didn't like was that they preached it as a resource, but I know there was a lot of people who would go to counseling, or I would go to the meetings, because I would be in the meetings with I was a sergeant when I was in all the meetings, and I was logistics, so I was all the important shit. And when they would have conversations about soldiers, what I didn't like was it was always coming from a perspective of like, well, so-and-so been to counseling and I don't believe it, or I don't this, and then it's like, that's because that resource didn't work. You feel me?
I had to change my therapist like 3 times.
Yeah, my little brother had anger issues. I adopted my brother and sister, and my little brother had a lot of anger issues. Bang his head against the wall, stabbing things. Like, he was just acting out.
At what age was he doing that?
He was probably 11.
Okay.
11 years old, but I didn't know. I was still going. I had got a DUI. I was still trying to make sure I was going through my own little personal problems. So I was having a crazy time trying to understand what my brother was going through. I went and I got him a counselor. But what bothered me was when I told them I wanted a male, specifically a black male, but I wanted a male.
Right.
Yeah, and they gave him a white female, older lady, who was like, my brother couldn't even receive the counseling. You know what I'm saying? My brother was like, okay.
It's cultural, and then also, I don't know if you guys look at medicine and like how they diagnose things as well, but a lot of things that they diagnose is based on cultural problems that people that don't look like us have, or you having people trying to interpret us as a whole that don't understand our problems and our issues, and now we have to still worry about something that's been in the culture because it's been in the books for a certain amount of time. And if you have anything that's on the books for a certain amount of time, it becomes tradition until until you disprove it as fact. And that's a problem we have. Like a lot of cannabis laws is based on what white men said this does to black people, or the gateway drug, or all those different things. I'm not even I'm not even an advocate for cannabis, but I understand where that research came from. And even when you talk about like anger issues or how people maneuver in certain situations, you're talking about older white men talking about little black boys and girls, and they don't understand this.
Especially after they've treated how they treated black people. Now
that's another aspect of it as well.
You placing us as an angry person, but if you poke a bear, you feel me?
Yeah.
It's just like you know what you're doing. It's very psychological. You know.
And then also your racism or perceived prejudice, or even when we're talking about subconscious, that's gonna affect your diagnosis of a person's problem.
There's lots of biases that come with it too. It's like
people of all colors do it. It's just like I know a person that has psoriasis real bad, and anytime she saw somebody with like dry skin, she would always say they had psoriasis too, and that wasn't the case. It's just we have a tendency to project, and then just because someone has MD associated with their title, we take it as fact, but they're also human beings, and human beings are flawed. And you're talking about people. We're talking philosophical medicine. It's like that's all based on patterns.
What was that movie? What was that movie with was it Taraji? It was a Tyler Perry movie. Taraji was the rich. She is a rich woman. She was like a therapist, or she was writing books about. And she had the with the dude with the wife.
Acrimony.
The only movie I remember is I Could Do Bad by Myself.
No, the Taraji movie with Tyler Perry, I think it was Acrimony or something like that.
What's it called? That
I think it's called Acrimony.
She was one of them. Maybe it was Janet Jackson.
Oh, that's Why Did I Get Married?
Why Did I Get Married?
So
that's what it is.
In that movie, for example, like I know she was the relationship therapist, but she had
all that problem
shit going on. That's like a perfect example.
Oh, that was my last therapist. I had a black woman as a therapist. She was I was trying to fix like myself to re-enter the dating pool, right? And so what I wanted out of life is the opposite of what she wanted out of life. She had already been married for 20 plus years and been divorced. She's already had her children. So when I spoke to her, she was giving me her advice about having fun, dating around, because she's already checked the boxes that I've yet to check. So we don't want the same thing. So that influences the advice that she's giving me. And this is a thing that I was smart enough to understand where she was in life and how that influenced the advice that she was giving me. Thus, I made the change. I didn't attack her for it. Just even with her being in the practice that she was in, she was still susceptible to being where she was in life.
But see, that's what happens when we live in a society where we're over here looking at people. We're looking up to people that what we want, the goals that we have, we're not going to people that has actually accomplished them. And I'm not saying that's like an easy thing to get out of, because you don't see a lot of people. Like for an example, like let's just say you're trying to get over drinking addiction or even a porn addiction. Because there's not so many people out there that are beating these things, we're going to the people that's in front of us. But then you don't know they dealing with an alcohol problem and a porn addiction too. But they're going off of research that what has worked for other people, but they haven't been able to conquer it themselves. So they're not able to give the right type of guidance because they're still battling the same things. If anything, the stuff that they're telling that other person, that's what they should be telling themselves, but they can't get out of that.
Yeah.
I feel like they make so much money off of it. It is such a amazing a game when I really look at it deep down.
It's a hard place to navigate. And then also another thing that I learned about, even it makes, black people don't necessarily trust doctors anyway for obvious reasons with history. But even it'll affect you in the sense of insurance purposes as well. If you been declared in like check that box as like being clinically depressed, that could affect you as a pre-existing condition moving forward when it's time for you to get a whole life or term life policy. I didn't know that. I was listening to I fell into a rabbit hole to listen to a podcast, and they were talking to like an insurance adjuster talking about stuff like that. That right there could mess with your benefits in the future, and you may not be clinically depressed. You could just be going through a real bad spell, real tough couple years, and you're just depressed at that moment. And then you're talking to a person you think you think you're talking to an advocate for you, and then there really is a business.
They do that too. It's like that military. You gotta be careful what you say. You know what I'm saying?
That's a hard place to be
because
you're
people,
paranoid.
Yeah, and you try to add little stuff in there, but you got to be careful. You could say something real bad that they write down, and a lot of people they lose their percentage because they might say something that's not true, or say something like, I can be like, yeah, you know, everything, my whole body hurt, but the whole time you didn't see me over here chilling, stretching, you know what I'm saying? Like, so they write that little stuff down, you know, and some people get away, some people don't. You know what I'm saying? But it is a business.
Let's shift a little bit. What's the worst purchase of recent memory you've made?
Memory?
No, purchase.
The worst purchase?
Yeah.
Recently?
Like, why I spend this money on this? Shoes, clothes.
I know I have one, but I've been
clothes, gadgets.
More recently, I paid for damn parking, and I didn't even want to go out. I said, I don't want to go out because I don't want to spend no money. And then as soon as I get there, I got to pay for parking. I'm like, man, I don't even want to go inside. I don't want to go party. I want to spend some more money. Yep. That's the most annoying because I've been learning how to, you know, live minimal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
It's a hard thing to do out here.
Trying to live very minimal. Yeah, it's hard. That's why it costs to breathe. Yeah. I walked outside and I just threw the money in the air.
Right. Somebody needs cash that.
Yeah.
Cash that.
Yeah.
Dang, I'm trying so hard to think right now because I haven't made a lot of bad purchases lately.
Yeah, I made good purchases. I'm gonna be real. I've changed my life for the better. I ain't gonna lie. I've been doing good.
I'm sporadic. So, food. I have this thing because I'm gone so much. I work like 60, 70 hours. I buy food for the house, and then like if I'm buying like organic stuff, you know, vegetables, that stuff
they go up fast.
And it's like if I'm gone, I get a couple interviews and a couple things stack up on me. That's nasty looking.
Yeah, you don't want that no more.
And now I just I'm looking at the money I just spent on it. I'm like, man, that what else do I spend money on?
If I get food stamps, I won't be mad. I'll be like, shit, I'm gonna get some more.
Yeah. That's the way you do business. Notice I said business. For real.
Colloquialism.
Let's see, what else we got? All right, since you guys are into music, if you could pick 3 people to go to dinner with, who you pick?
Oh.
In music. Yeah.
Erykah Badu, Lauryn Hill.
Okay. She gonna show up on time?
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there early.
I'm saying she gonna show up on time.
Oh, Lauren. We're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna call her after this. I'm gonna call Lauren.
Get our energies together.
But honestly, I would say like Lauren and Erykah like my favorite, and then my last person. Shoot, my last person to be hard.
You gotta go pop.
I mean, you know, I'm gonna see him in heaven. You feel me? I'm gonna see him at the Thugs Mansion. We're looking good. Yeah, we out there. We in there.
All right.
But I don't know who I really.
Oh, he's gonna keep it as a +1 just in case.
Who? Yeah, I'm gonna keep the +1. Just okay. I don't know who I will really want to like spend dinner with.
Gotcha. Who you got, Joe?
Man, number 1, since the pastor I be watching, he's like really. He does music too. He's like an artist too. I would say my Todd. It would be Andy Mineo and Lecrae. I would go with those 3.
Who's Andy? Who's that?
He's like a Christian hip hop artist. It's kind of like Lecrae. Matter of fact, say if Kendrick were to just stop, I won't say stop, but he's kind of like Kendrick mixed with a little bit of Kanye. Like that's how that artist sounds like. I haven't listened to a lot of like rap or R&B like Drake or Kanye, none of that. And it's because like I've been exploring just like the Christian genre, and it sounds the same, except people just sound more encouraging.
Yeah, I was about to say all the Christian rap out there is basically that. It's basically I've heard trap and drill, like Christian rap. Is
Yes.
I'm weak.
Huh?
He said, "Oh,
Yeah,
weak."
yeah. No,
Christian rap.
drill Christian. Damn, we're going hard on the devil.
Take it down from
Sweet.
Jesus.
About to catch the Holy
I would
Ghost.
say Drake. Let me say Drake.
Okay.
I would definitely. Drake is one of the most successful artists, right? I would definitely meet Drake.
Okay.
Please, yes, Drake.
What influences your I like her.
I'll meet you up, boy. See you soon.
What influences your choices for your picks? For you, obviously Christianity.
Not even just like Christianity, but more of just I've watched a lot of interviews with these people, so it's just more of their character. Because you can make really good music, but I won't like your character if there's things about your character that conflict with what I'm trying to do for my life.
Yeah.
Like for an example, I would say Drake would be my pick too, and Kanye. But it's like I've also looked up a bunch of stuff too about them, and not all the stuff that they would.
Bro, you look long enough at anybody, you gonna find something you don't like.
Man, it's not like even with those guys that I just mentioned, there's things that I don't like, but there's just
Human beings are human beings, bro.
human beings are human beings. But I'm just saying, like, you can really make good music, but
I feel what you're saying. Like when
Yeah.
you follow people, you kind of like
you gotta be careful who you
are
follow.
what you.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
So with that being said, do you guys have anybody that you enjoy their interviews more than some people music?
I mean, isn't that like everybody's pick would be like Charlemagne, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, shoot, people love the interviews, but they don't like how he just loved being the butthole.
He's
I like
transformed himself.
I
He's
like
made himself
personality. I love Cardi B.
Yeah.
Cardi B's personality intrigues me. You know, I'm a very stupid person. You know,
Yeah.
like funny wise.
Okay.
I love Chappelle, and you know, I love Key and Peele. Like I love stupid shit. So
I love Chris Rock.
you know what? I might want to have lunch with Dave Chappelle. Now I thought about it.
Yeah.
I think it's a handful of people, just because it's not even for just what they are, but it's their story. Like
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle has a very broad, like he's been in so many different places and rooms. He's been offered money and denied it. I just want to know what was going through your mind. You know what I'm saying? When you had that kind of pressure on you. You feel me? So I like that. And then like when it comes to them, I just grew up listening to them. Who don't want to meet people that you just,
Yeah.
you know,
So
I connect with
my
them.
three, it's not tied to music. It's the third one's such a hard pick because I got so many people. But my first two would be Bruce Lee, Richard Pryor, and then the third was always tough because it can go from 50 Cent, it can go to one of my favorite comedians, Dave Chappelle, Bill Burr, Andrew Schultz, Charlemagne. It could go to there's so many different people that could be in that third spot. It's just so hard.
It's hard.
Yeah, it's so many people that's influential, and then their stories, and then what type of conversations you'll have.
Yeah,
too.
three not enough because I want to
It's
meet
so hard.
Andre too. Because Andre went through
I didn't think about that.
he went through such a shift.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that him and her together. I think that's beautiful within itself. That those two types of energies met each other and married each other. You know what I'm saying? But Andre, he went through a transformation. You know what I mean? Like Outkast was one thing, and he transformed into something different. I like people that transform. Like people
That's a
that
hard
are.
thing to do, and it
Yeah.
speaks because it takes a lot of bravery to do that.
Yeah, a lot of people are not doing that. Music is so fast. Everything is so microwave right now. You know, the trends last, they come and go. Anybody could be famous in a matter of minutes, and then we also forget them in a matter of minutes because somebody else did something else. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to really stay relevant. You know, I really don't pay attention to a lot of people. To be
Yeah, but
honest.
see now this generation's just like people back
You're too
then.
young to be on this old, bro.
But let me say
Whose soul you got?
let me say this right now. Like, and this is just from hanging out with people that would tell me
generation.
There's-
Back in my day.
there's people
Get
that
you a
there's
smoke and
people
some
that's
grass
older
so
than
you
me.
can get off my lawn.
You need that little grass right there.
Yeah.
There's people older than me talking about the bad attention span that people had back then, and it's even worse now. Like that's why all these
I can
rappers,
justify it now.
that's why all these rappers and R&B singers, that's why they out here doing all these publicity stunts.
You gotta stay in front of someone's mind.
You gotta stay in front of somebody's mind because if you can't do that, then your music has to be good.
good?
But then now it's like
You good?
music only lasts like.
a whole expedition.
Hey, don't mind me. I'm just listening to this.
But now it's like music at the max only lasts like 5 months now, and then it's like it's on to somebody else. At least, you know.
Well, also too, when somebody comes up with a sound that no one else has, it's not gonna be that for that long. It's gonna be like 2-3 months, and then you get 5-10 artists and artists you might like, and then they all sound like the person that just got on.
Yeah, it's everybody. So many people sound the same. It's really hard to just. And I be thinking it because I be like, when certain people get on, like I know me for example. Even when you ask me about Eat It, I'm being honest. I made it out of relevancy. It's not really my style, and really, I just found my sound at 30 years old. You know what I mean?
All right, so in the talk of transformation and like you finding your sound, I was going through your page, do scrolling,
Scroll.
and it look like I'm looking at the DMX challenge. You know, it feels like I'm sitting there like Inez, and Delisha. Like you got so many different looks. How do you pick all your different looks?
It just depends on how I feel today. Like today I feel like a woman with long hair, so I'm gonna get me a wig. Today I feel like I want to wear my short hair. Today I want to wear the makeup. Today I want to be a bad motherfucker. You know, for me, it just depends on how I feel, and then if I have somewhere to go, that too. So if I have somewhere to go, let's just say I got somewhere to go tomorrow, I'm gonna have a new hairstyle.
Okay.
You feel me? By tomorrow, depending on like what I'm doing. So if I got like a photo shoot or something, like tomorrow, I'll just base my style off of that. I might rock it for a couple days and then be like, I'm gonna wear something else.
Okay.
So it just depends.
When I met you, your hair was red.
Man,
Where did you get your inspiration from?
look, I'll be completely honest. I remember when.
Are you in the aisle?
I remember.
The box? Like, no, not this.
I remember when my ex-girlfriend. I remember. Well, first off, I had red hair when it was my senior year, when my hair was long enough for it to even have some type of style with being locks.
Okay.
And the reason why I did it just full on red one time, I'll be really honest, it was back when my ex-girlfriend was dyeing her hair red. And I'm just like, okay, I don't want to pay to get it dyed again. And honestly, I did not want that to be full on red, but she obviously didn't know what she was doing. But it just, I don't know, people just kind of gave me a lot of compliments back then, so I just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah.
And then it's just
what
like,
back then are you referring to? Because you be saying back then, it could be 3 months ago or 2 years ago.
because times go so fast. But this was like, this was around. This was like January, maybe like January, February. It was around that time. It's been a little minute.
All right. Since I'm talking to creatives, when do you feel you're at your most creative part in a day?
Man, that could happen just like random, like at 3 a.m. You all of a sudden like some melody just pop up. You'll debate and be like, do I really want to get up and do this? But then it's like, you don't want this to just like go away. It's kind of like writing a vision now. You're making a vision now, make it plain. But that just comes from just having that instant imagination. And a lot of times, if you believe in it, it kind of becomes anointed in a sense.
Okay.
So that could just be in your sleep. It could be when you're eating something. It could simply just be from you're trying to knock on the door, and like you're waiting for this person over the door, and you just kind of like start making this type of drum pattern just because of the fact that you feel like you're just in the vibe.
Joseph got the vibe.
It could be so. It could be so random. But then what I've noticed is you become most creative when you give yourself rest away from that. When you're doing that every day, you don't give yourself time to recharge. Yeah. And then what makes it worse is that we in the industry, we like to stay like with dark rooms and not getting out, getting sunlight. But we wasn't designed to be out there like that. We're supposed to get sunlight. Yeah. That's part of health right there. I think I'm my most creative when I'm my most healthy.
Okay.
No, I can agree. I definitely agree. It's very random because I have times where I have writer's blocks and I'm all over the place. Shoot, I'm trying to finish this one song and I'm trying to make my single and I still can't get this melody in my head. So it is very random. And like you said, it's about health too. Like I said, mentally and spiritually, when I'm on that and I'm not breaking away from it and being distracted, I am, I'm moving. Yeah. Like I'm going through. But I get up. I'm a 3-4 in the morning type person. I get up and I talk to God in the morning. So when I get up in the morning and I know I got stuff to do, or I listen to sermons. I might listen to 3-4 sermons in the morning.
Okay.
And so that's how I start my day. If I don't start my day like that, like
how you start is how you
my
finish.
creativity is knocked a lot of
Yeah,
times.
just say that.
I be like, oh, today was weird day today. You know what I'm saying? Try again tomorrow. You
Yeah.
know. So I mean,
But the thing about creativity is it cannot be forced.
No.
It can't be. And what I've noticed in the producer community, we done made this thing where, okay, you got to make beats every day. You got to be making beats at least 3 or 4 hours, or matter of fact, 24 hours a day. You got to keep going up with the grind. But now it's like you have not only tired yourself out, but you're even putting out beats that you didn't even like. And it's like we have, like the community, they put emphasis on just making beats, even if it sounds bad. That's like Tonay recording a song, but she ain't like it, but she gonna put it out anyway, just because the fact that it was a song. You just don't. The producers, they don't think like artists do. They just think, okay, we're just picking all these drum samples out. We're picking out all these loops that we done got from Splice and Arcade and all these other people that we don't even be close with, just so we can say that we made 20 beats in one day.
I think people don't do things with intent. If we learn how to do things with intention, I feel like it all makes sense. And when I learned that, it forced me to slow down, because I'm a person that I can multitask. I can do a million things. Look at me, I'm an octopus. It's so great. You feel me? And
Right.
and I'll really like bask in that. You know what I mean? Like I can do a million things at one time. But it's like, girl, you burnt out, tired, irritated as hell with everybody. Don't want to talk. Communication off. You feel me? Like it's a distraction.
And you're not doing anything at a particular
I'm not doing nothing. You know what I mean? Even in the military, I used to work my ass off in the Army. And everybody used to tell me, they used to be like, girl, I'm going home. Why are you staying here? And I used to still want to be I didn't want to be at work, but I was like, man, I know that tomorrow there's going to be an issue. So if I finish it now, you feel me? But it's like, really, when you really think about it though, your job is never done. I'm going to come back tomorrow and have a whole nother plate of shit, have a meeting. So it's like, you got to learn how to give yourself that rest. I had to learn how to give myself that rest. I'm still learning today, you know, and I'm learning in everything. I'm learning in just life, with myself, in relationships with other people, with my communication. I've literally had to slow down my life to be more present. You know what I'm saying? I had to slow down to learn how to bask in the moment, in the present moment. I stop and just say thank you when I'm frustrated. And even that makes me feel better. I'm like, oh, God, because I'd be like, I don't even deserve. You know what I'm saying? I don't even deserve it. I'm still trying to, you know what I mean, figure it out, you know? So I don't know, I think, and I see people who, us doing music forever.
Right.
I've seen people just do music and get on. And you be like, what the hell, all this energy I put in it? But I think a lot of times, like, you are so burnt out, you have to step outside of yourself to see how you really look on the outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't understand.
Well, another thing, you can't speak on another person's blessing because their schedule is not yours. Yeah.
No, for sure. I've had to really like take time to look on the outside and say, damn, like my got bags under my eyes. I'm sleepy. I'm around people, but I'm not present in conversations. Or I'm at the club, but I'm not enjoying myself. You know what I'm saying? It's like you just doing stuff just to do it. Yeah. You know, a lot of times, and it's really just focus. Because when I seen that person do their thing, and I'm like, I've been doing this forever. How come I get on? But at the same time, like, they truly believed and applied themselves, whether they was better than me or not. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's not for me to knock. You know what I'm saying? But when I see that, I'm like, damn, it's something that I'm missing. Like, I be thinking about that all the time. Like, if there's somewhere that I want to be, I don't compare myself to other people. But if I see somebody take a certain step, I'm like, damn, I really try to put myself in their shoes so that I don't judge their process. You know what I'm saying? Like, they, you know, I could have went to the studio yesterday, but I decided not to. You feel me? They probably went to the studio and they made that hit that night. You feel me? I could have made that hit that night. Or maybe because I got, you know, I be having my little moments or my distractions, I'm not fully applying myself like I really, you know what I'm saying? What distracts me? It's an energetic thing, to be honest. It's two things. Because I'm so in the mix with so much stuff out here in Atlanta, sometimes I feel like I used to feel like I have to go. you know. But
That's a hard
I
place to
already made the connection,
Yeah.
so I don't have to go. So now, like, I'll be like, yeah, I'm not coming,
Yeah.
and it is what it is. But I still got the connection, so that goes back to, you know, taking losses, and that really wasn't no loss. You know what I'm saying? I'm tripping, and sometimes it's me. I feel like a lot of times it's me versus me.
Yeah.
I'm in my head so
That's
much.
all of us, really.
Yeah, you can be your own distraction.
Yeah.
Everybody else tell me I'm great. Everybody say I sound good. Everybody say the song sound great, but I'm still gonna find a way to beat myself up
Yeah.
all the time. You know what I mean? Self-sabotage. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing we have to deal with.
Yeah.
All right, we'll shift gears a little bit more now. So, another deep philosophical question.
Sweet.
All right, you know, let me pick one. You being a man is gonna be a little different for you, but you being a woman, let's see what you go with it.
Okay.
Go with the man first.
Boy.
Good hairline or good beard? You can only have one.
Good hairline. I can always shave this up. Just like, I don't want to lose my hair, but I could be fine losing this.
Okay. What about you, T? You want a man with a good hairline or that good luxurious beard?
You put me in a tough spot.
I know.
You know, because
I do it on purpose.
you know, I don't really discriminate with the bald head because, you know, I'm grown. So I like the little bald head look on a man. So the hairline not going to really matter. But, you know, I'm going to stick with the hairline. I like beards.
Okay.
Because even in the military, I hated that.
You ain't having to shave it all the time?
I didn't like...
I look good with a baby face, but I got to have something.
I like a man. I want a manly man.
I like when some women say that. They say,
I want a manly
They
man.
always in this mood where
It is. I want a man that chop down trees and shit. Like I want to. We can go build a house, build a clubhouse. I'm just a very active person, so you know. So I would say hairline, but I'm gonna say hairline because you know what I'm saying. The resuscitation could run in a family. You feel me? So I don't want the kids to have them hairlines. So I'm gonna stick with the hairline. Okay.
Right.
Alright.
Man, me and Jay are like Samson. Like we get our power from here, man.
Boy. I looked at my pops, like he had a head full of white even to the day he passed, but like hairline was here and it was thick and nice. And I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm looking
So you
forward to
good.
it. But I saw my brother.
So
My brother, he got the fade started back here. And I'm like, I don't know.
you gotta blame it on my son.
I know, right?
No, you your mama's son.
You your mama's son.
For real. All right, another little fun question. All right, so you know we from the South, so or you a little bit of everywhere. What regional accent entertains you the most?
That Lee County, Georgia accent. I ain't there.
Wait, what?
He's thinking of an accent right now.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know what the actual accent is called, but every time I go to Lee County or Leesburg, Georgia, they always have that little funny accent.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm from the country, but you can tell I don't have that. If anything, I sound Floridian. But that's funny to me.
Okay. What about you, T?
I think everybody accent funny. Don't ask me that. Everything's funny to me. I laugh at everything.
Okay.
I think everything is funny, from the way people in New York talk. Like, why are you talking so hard?
It was
That kills me.
That
Like, why
was
is it that serious?
in a weird way. When I first moved down here, that's why I met my most my New Yorkers and East Coast people, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was charming for a second. And then I realized, oh, this is way of life, and everything is said in an argumentative tone. And it's like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Oh man, like
Oh,
it's cool.
And you go dead ass wear Sims with that dress. It's
Like, I dead ass him.
Yeah.
But why we gotta say dead ass?
Yeah.
Man, the second favorite, it's like Haitian to me, and it's only because I'm from Florida.
Okay.
Like there was more like jokes in Florida just from me being around people that spoke in Creole.
Okay.
It's just like the funniest thing to me when Haitians are clowning other Haitians.
Yeah.
And it just be funny. You don't even know what they saying.
Yeah.
I take it back. I'm glad you said that. African accents crack me up.
Yeah.
It's so serious. It's like, what are we going to do about that today?
Yes.
Do you know the way?
It's so deliberate. I like it's so deliberate.
Yeah,
It's so
I love
deliberate.
it because it's like, I really feel like you want me to feel what you're saying, and I feel you.
And they're physical talkers. They're very physical talkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to rent my condo out. This girl, she was from. Where's she from? She was African, but she was raised in Paris. And then she came here, and when I first met her, her English wasn't that strong. So I really had to listen to her. And whenever she got excited or angry, started speaking French. Like, yeah, I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
What the hell?
But whenever she talks, it's so many hand movements. And like in America, we have like a natural distance we have with people in conversation. And then other countries, they're a little bit closer. So it feels weird. And then people pointing things in my face kind of like hits triggers for me. But she's like, oh my goodness, you're so funny, Jay. But you circling your finger by my eye like, yo. I feel so much anxiety right now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Like, oh my goodness, you play.
I knew somebody used to hit you. You know people to hit you and laugh.
Oh yeah. That's country. That's the country. What I noticed, much like he said when he didn't make eye contact with people, I spent a lot of my time in my childhood in seclusion, so I didn't necessarily like making eye contact with people. I would more so listen to people, and then what happens with me when I stare at people for a long time, I record different things, and I start picking up on idiosyncrasies, and I stop trying to look at people, and I'm like I'm studying them, and just being present. But it's funny because everybody has these little tics, and it makes them who they are. Yeah. But I remember a lot of people in my family, they do this thing where they slap you when they laugh. And then the one thing I know is women like to share their joy. Yeah. So they make eye contact with you. You looking at a movie right here, and then y'all look, and then
I'm that person. I'm gonna crack up and look at you laughing while I'm laughing.
Yep.
Like, laugh with me, please.
Yeah. Share this moment. This
is
us
not funny to you. That shit funny to me.
Yeah. But most men, we be like, that was funny. That was funny.
We don't even know what y'all talking about.
No, we laughing at the same thing. Like, it was say we go to a comedy show, we looking at a comedian right there. Guys will typically look right there and laugh, but women there and look at whoever they came with.
See, I got a person, I'm going to repeat it so you can laugh again in case you didn't hear me. Did you hear what he said?
Oh, man.
You one of those.
And then
you one of them. You gonna get these laughs, bro.
And then he said, oh, God, like he wasn't just there.
Oh, you one of those.
It's funny. If it's funny, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I like funny stuff, you know?
Okay, so with you saying you like Chris Rock and you saying you like Dave Chappelle,
yeah, I'm a
those are real big storytellers and philosophers of the time. Yeah. Is that what draws you to those guys, or is it a specific style or something else that draws you to him?
I love Chris's bluntness. Okay. I just love how blunt he is about just with stuff.
Oh, do you know he has Asperger's?
Yeah, you know I have it too, right?
Yeah, he was undiagnosed, but he didn't recognize why he was behaving in such a way like he would be very blunt, and he couldn't. He didn't understand how he was controlling crowds. Like he had to learn why he was funny. But it's like all this stuff is like a real big social experiment for me. It's dope.
Yeah, I love Chris, Steve Harvey, and Kevin Hart.
Really, I've never heard anybody say they love Steve Harvey besides the radio show.
I'm not a big.
But the thing is with Steve though, like okay, Chris. And
I'm not
Kevin,
saying he's not funny.
Chris and Kevin, they're gonna talk about the story, but a lot of the times when they talk about it, it's like you haven't really heard from them in a while, and you don't really hear from them until they have their sermons. I mean, not just until they have
it's like sermons.
Yeah, but with Steve, it's like
your ass.
it's like
right. It's more so that for me.
He family feud in the daytime, but he's
funny on.
But he a motivational speaker at night.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what he's out there to do. So you're going to hear his story a lot, but it's to the point where you hear it so much, to the point where you know that there's faith behind this. Yeah. So I just love how Steve talks about what brought him to where he is now.
Yeah.
It's like a lot of comedians do speak. I think it's funny, just humor and the truth.
That's what I love comedians.
That's what I like about it. Yeah, it's like lightens up things. Like it's true, but it kind of lightens it up for you. You know, you're not as serious about it. You know?
They're the philosophers like of old times where like you would have a neighborhood person that would get all the stories and then they would remember the stories and be the orator for the group. Those are the best comedians to me. The way Dave Chappelle will make you engage in the story, he could talk in a whisper and then he'll like, psych you, bitch! Like, and then I kicked her in the pussy. Like he'd do one of those. It's like, it's just like but he's like a master class of how he crafts his stories, and then
his
also
transitions are perfect. He transitions his stories
yeah
so well that you be like, some people. I just went to a comedy show last night.
yeah
And there was a guy up there. For one, he took so long telling his story, and then he took so long you got lost
okay
in the story. So when he came up with the punchline, it was like, I don't get it. You know, yeah, like all right now, but like you know, a lot of people it's their transitions. Because if you don't, you might not have one funny joke,
yeah,
but then you transition to something else that might be funny as hell. Now you got my attention,
yeah,
but you got to keep up that momentum, and that's what I like about Dave. He keeps it up. Everything he say is funny because it's some real shit. It don't seem like it's rehearsed. It seems like he having a conversation with the crowd, and he giving you his opinion. Like
He's like Cat Williams.
yeah, like when I'm high, that's how I feel. When I'm high, and I be like, shit, what if this happened? Wouldn't it be funny? Like that's how he give me like natural vibes. Like I can chill with this nigga right now and smoke a blunt.
I'm starting to think Cat is underrated now.
I love Cat
He
Williams.
is underrated, man.
I love Cat Williams. I love him. I like him.
No, I love him. I'm saying I think people are starting to underrate him because of the antics that surround him, and then like how he looks when he on stage when he's sweated his perm out, and he's all the extraness. But the way he articulates himself, how smart he is, I think it goes unnoticed, and it gets lost in a little bit of the presentation of how we perceive him to be, because he's gonna be Forever Money Mike to some people, but he's so much more than that.
I think it's very authentic. I like him. It's very raw.
Yeah.
Like the whole, I think I don't even look at him as that. Personally, I'm not one that looks at him like that. But I personally feel like it's just raw. He gives you raw. When he up there, I like raw. Like when he up there sweating and shit. And I like that.
That's a performer.
That look like that nigga. That looked like that nigga literally sat in his garage and probably was in there practicing in a mirror.
You love working people. That's your military. You're like,
for real.
You coming on the sweatside. You like seeing people struggle a little bit. Like
I like seeing people put in work. Like when that man chopping that tree down, I want to see you sweat for me. Yes, I'm gonna bring you food, water, everything you need. Just
I want to
chop
man
down.
so I can feed him.
Yeah,
I'll give him all the pancakes he needs.
whatever. You know, just support me, okay? Just support me and how I live my life.
Is your life still on? DM about to go
no,
get active.
Because my phone about to die.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say that DM about to get active.
But yeah, I somebody who, can understand me for who I am. I think I probably need to marry a comedian. Somebody, I like to laugh. Especially now in life. I just want to laugh.
Sense of humor of me is paramount because it speaks to emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also the type of comedian that makes you laugh. It speaks to the level of emotional intelligence to understanding to me. Because I remember when I was younger, I didn't get Chris Rock because I hadn't experienced life enough. When you get older and the philosophies he throws at you,
now it's funny.
Right.
It's funny now.
On a whole other level because you get it. You get some living. Back then, it's like slapstick jokes was like, oh, okay, because I was a teenager. I was thinking like a teen. Thinking like a kid. Then when I became a man, you think like a man. So it's like that makes more sense.
Yeah, that's some funny shit, right?
Right. Absolutely. Anything you guys want to talk about? What's at the forefront of your mind before we wrap?
What you mean rap?
Before it's over, he about to close.
You should rap, Jay.
I want to be a rapper, bro.
Rap, Jay?
This is my rap.
This is my rap.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, this is my rap.
I like that.
This is
Real rap.
I can do this 2 hours twice a week. You know what I'm saying? Not many people do that.
This is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, you know what I'm saying? Don't forget, this your girl, Tonay Marie. I got an EP coming out in February. That's the timeline we've been talking about. So,
I was gonna say, what's the reason for that? Is it Valentine's Day, anniversary?
Because it's kind of heartbreak. Like it's me.
Oh, you doing the opposite
in my situation, but it's not really heartbreak.
Okay.
If that makes sense. Like like it hurt me, but in the songs, it's such a.
It's growth.
You just have to hear it. Yeah, it's growth.
Because when the freestyles I've seen you on, I see it's so weird because when you have things on social media, you can see a person's transition. Like I made a joke about the DMX challenge, and Eat It to Peace. Like, and then the freestyles in between, I can hear different subject matter, and then I can hear it permeate, and then you're in your growth.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
For sure. So, we kind of, because it's about love, it was like, you know what? It's a lover's month. You know, we're gonna stick with February, and it's like I didn't even mind doing December because it's cold outside and people in relationships now.
Yeah.
But really, because
cuffing season.
it's kind of heartbreak, and I don't deal with holidays anyway, so I guess I can play devil's advocate. I'm not trying to say.
How long have you been off the holiday wave?
I've never been on holidays. I was the last time I went.
You didn't ever get dressed up for Halloween?
No, never celebrate Halloween.
Okay.
I remember one time somebody asked me, it was like, "What are you?" I literally had on these little stockings and this black. I said, "I'm sexy." Okay, I'm sexy every day.
Man, when it comes to Halloween, most people, you want to give like treats to kids. No, you want to trick them. Like, you want some candy? No, you take this Jack in the Box.
Oh, weird. You see my trick or real trick or treat?
You cannot wait to be an old man. So
I'm weak. I can't wait to scare kids off my yard.
Yeah, you see the light on. Where they get a load of me. You was sitting in the summertime thinking about the fall.
Man, you were going to my house thinking you getting some candy. No, you getting the Switch.
Bruh.
You thought you came for a treat, you getting the
You
treat.
want to talk about country, man? Man, my mom would get like a Switch, an extension cord. Man, I remember my mom talking about so like one time she gonna get some water.
We got some trauma. Yo, how we go from trick and treat to traumas?
Trick and tweaks the switches.
Man, how do we get there? You good, bro? you need the Better Health plug? I got you.
Man, but other than that, it's like
That's transition, right?
But
like
But
Thanksgiving.
you know
Like I love Thanksgiving, Christmas. I mean, I like holidays. But as far as like just get dressed up and stuff like that, I'm not really like that.
I'm an everyday person. And
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, I'm an everyday person. I feel like don't wait till Valentine's Day to treat me special. Treat me special every day. We should be giving thanks every day for our meals. You feel me? So I'm just that kind of person. Mm-hmm. But I also just don't believe in made up holidays. Mm-hmm. You're not gonna convince me to celebrate something that I don't know where it even derived from.
Yeah.
You
and
know,
then if you look at the history of all these holidays, they usually come from
very pagan, very pagan, very European, type stuff that probably dealt with doing people dirty.
I'm something at you because I come from the Midwest, and this is something that seems to be only in the Midwest. But have you guys ever heard of Sweetest Day?
What is it?
Sweetest Day.
Sweetest?
Yeah.
What
like
time
sweetest?
of the year is that?
No.
Okay, so that's something I think Hallmark invented it, but it's like something that's like it's more popularized in the Midwest. So it's kind of like Valentine's Day, but it's mostly like the men give. Actually, I think it's around the season, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like right before Thanksgiving. Oh, not Thanksgiving, but right before Halloween or right after Halloween, where the man does something for the woman, like gives her candies and treats and stuff like that, and then the woman like gives the man something. But it's kind of like another version of Valentine's.
Okay, so it's just like a little exchange.
Yeah.
Sweetest Day.
Yeah.
See, I'm gonna look it up because I'm my kind of person. I'm like, who the hell invented this?
You so goofy, though. So goofy.
What?
You just goofy. You every time I see you, whatever ad lib that's hot to you or whatever like thing that that came from a TikTok, I'm gonna hear it 20 times before you leave.
Man, imagine how.
Last time we talked, when I had him on the podcast last time, all right, big fella. He's
not saying that.
You know, too.
No, I never heard him say that,
Oh,
but that's
no?
funny coming from him.
Yeah, so he was doing, who's that?
Big fellas.
Yeah, it was Ha Davis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had a dude on as a singer, and he thought he was saying big fella, like calling him big dude. And he was like, he's starting to feel it, like, all right, now let me start roasting, because when they start getting touched, they want to go there, right?
Yeah.
But I'm like, nah, he doing Ha Davis.
Yeah, he just saying big fella.
Catching it, yeah.
Like, you calling me a big fella?
Yeah, that's how he was feeling too. And then I was like, let me try to stop it before that turns up the station. But it was funny because I knew, like, when you can see like different forms of communication going on in one group, that's my idiosyncrasy. I noticed like little stuff like that. But that's part of like the thing that excites me about people too.
Yeah, because people's people thought process, how they process things in general is just very interesting.
Absolutely.
We could all read something and think totally different about all of it. Like,
and that's the core. That's the beef that people seem to run into. So I've been talking to people about the Dave Chappelle special, right? And the backlash he's been getting. It seems to be the most problematic part is the lack of consistency of what people are upset about.
Yeah, honestly, because you got to tread lightly on the subject. You feel me?
Man, you get canceled just about anything.
Yeah, it's. I feel like there's like things I would want to say, but you know what I mean. I would have to literally make sure I capture it in the perfect words.
Yeah, you gotta watch how you eat
Yeah,
a sandwich.
you got to be careful.
And talk about it.
But I think that I'm gonna really truly say it's not fair because everybody.
It's not fair for who?
It's not fair in general.
Okay.
You feel me? It's not fair to him. It's not fair to, the people who get targeted for certain things. Like, how is it that you love everything else I do?
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? But then one little thing that I do, now, even me calling it little is now an issue because that might not be little to them.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So it's like you got to be so careful when you say stuff. It's like, damn, I can't even. I don't even want to talk.
It makes it hard to express yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to talk at all. And I feel like every comedian makes jokes about everybody. How is it that y'all can sit here and sit in a room and about a black woman? You feel me? But the moment you talk about somebody else, it's not seen as disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? How is it that we can speak so disrespectfully about certain things, but now all of a sudden we don't like when you talk about a certain thing? Or, you got to find comedy in that. Let's be real. Let's be all the way real. There is comedy in lots of things. You feel me?
Life. Yes,
Shoot,
everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't like
Wait,
it.
what's that, Joe?
I've watched a whole bunch of just funny sketches from people. Like, I forgot what it was called, but a whole bunch of people like Chris Tucker, Bernie Mac. I forgot what area there was around where they were doing it, but I remember watching all those type of videos.
You talking Bernie Mac? He got canceled before he passed away because he did a set at the Obama one of his luncheon when he was a senator. He went in. I think talking about women, and he was going in, but he was doing him. Though.
He was just doing him.
Yeah,
exactly.
But the thing is, like, it's like back then, like Bernie Mac would have been the only person that could have got canceled for stuff like that. But now it's like let Chris Tucker or Chris Rock or even Steve Harvey come back with the jokes that they had back then. They would get canceled too.
Rappers, entertainers,
influencers.
Charlemagne, all three of us have mentioned Charlemagne. You look at his old clips, and then you said he's like famous for like he likes being a butthole. Like he's transformed himself from that, but he's so strongly associated with what he used to do,
right?
Those salacious things he used to say. He's not that anymore. He's just pushing mental health and sending everybody healing energy. But it's a little bit of trolling in the subtext of what he does that to certain people. But he's transformed himself, and that's the thing. Everybody should have a chance to grow and learn from a mistake or just get more information.
We don't allow that. We're not allowing people to. It's not even at his age. It's not even a learning moment. He don't need to sit down with a transgender and feel me.
He said he'd do it. He said he
would, but to me, it's not necessary because at the end of the day,
I thought he was respectful.
I'm a
straight black man that's not in the trans community, so it's kind of hard to say, right?
And I'm not, and I got one of my best friends is gay. You feel me?
Yeah, I got gay friends too.
I get it, but it's like at the same time, like that human, like element. You said, that human element, like let him. You know what I mean? That's it's his opinion. Yeah. People pay to come see his opinion. If you don't like my opinion, don't pay to come watch it. And I feel like that a lot, even though I get that's not how I go. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, damn, let me just, you feel me? Even if the baby came back and wanted to be like, damn, I really apologize. Let's just say he could have went back and been like, somebody told him like, hey man, that was fucked up what you said. Yeah. And he went back and did an apology. Mm-hmm. You feel me? What if he wanted to do that? But people jumped on it so hard. That you feel me? Because back in the day, every DJ did shit like that.
Yeah.
If you your pussy is good, your pussy stank, your pussy, you feel me? Anybody can be offended by anything.
Right, so the child in me laughs when women start talking. When women say pussy in 5 different ways, it's so entertaining to me.
Oh, wait,
there's so many ways to say that.
And then when y'all do man voice, it's always hilarious. Women do a man voice. You ever notice how girls do when they get mad at a dude? When you start talking like this.
Yeah, when I do a man voice, I think you sound real stupid. I feel like it's funny to me. For real, because I be feeling like, come on now, what you just said.
So what you saying? What you mean? That's what right. Basically.
All right.
Dang, we just made it sound like a chimpanzee just now.
No, that's what they sound like. It's very Neanderthal like. And then it was funny because I mean, men do it the same way. Because when we do women voices, oh my gosh, really? I don't get this. It's all high pitched unless you're talking about a New York girl.
Aggressive.
I ain't doing that.
I'm horrible with my little accents.
It comes and goes. I have my moments. I don't do it on command though. It comes and goes.
Yeah, I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
I love my country accent though.
Yeah.
Something about it. It just does
It's a
something
charm.
to me.
It's a charm.
It grounds. It just gets under my skin. You know.
It just makes you feel like sunshine just hit your
Make me
chest.
feel
It's
bubbly, real bubbly,
like a sun gazer. Just like, oh my goodness, like you can say anything right there, and
And it sounds beautiful.
It sounds
beautiful.
great. It sounds like butter hitting a biscuit and just a good morning. And look at you, like you want some carbs.
Well, ain't nothing better than a butter biscuit in my mouth. Just melting. Goddamn melting.
I want to hear you do country ASMR.
Oh yeah, I'm going to eat this piece of bubble gum for you real quick.
All the views just went viral right there.
I'll tell y'all that might be something. That might be a
You
good
sound like
one.
you about to go to the Western Sizzle.
Look, and that's look, tomorrow I'm gonna have a real watch. Tomorrow I'm gonna have a real.
Yeah.
You be like, where the hell she get chicken from? Watch. I'm gonna have a little real tomorrow.
I'm about to clip that what you just said. I'm about to eat this biscuit, and it's gonna bless my soul.
Better than the biscuit.
Man, I ain't never had a biscuit that blessed my soul. I had to drink water
Bless
every
my
time.
esophagus.
That's because you ate that biscuit from Popeyes.
And
that was made in some hellacious stuff.
Man, you can throw them and knock somebody out.
Man, you over here got a Popeyes biscuit. It's so dry. You just hit it. You got all types of just dust just coming.
I'm gonna say something that's like anti-black based on a stereotype, but I really don't like Popeyes.
You don't like Popeyes?
Not really.
I think
I don't
Popeyes
either.
too greasy for me, man. Like
I'm
I like it. It
never-
tastes all right, but I just know how greasy it is. And that's just not good for me. Like
This-
KFC it's straight. Like I can eat KFC. That's good.
Man, we some real minorities in here.
See, I like to cook, so I'm not. I'll eat it when I'm on the road, but
Yes,
I don't
yeah.
really. But every military base got Popeyes, Burger King, Subway.
Man, the military base got everything.
I cannot stand none of them places. I don't
Because
like none of that.
you had too much.
We've had to because
Yeah.
you don't want to eat MREs and stuff. So there's a Popeyes everywhere. I remember the exact day and the moment that the chicken sandwich came out because I went and got one.
I remember I had the.
I didn't try one for like almost a year.
It was good, and then when they stopped selling them and came back, it wasn't as
something new?
good as it was.
Okay.
They did something. I think they took the crack out of it. Before it had to be the crack, but now the people is hooked now.
Yeah,
has to be what it was.
It's cut. It's
Yeah,
busted
I
down
was
a couple
like-
times.
You remember, Jay? You remember when the chicken donut sandwich at KFC came out?
I don't. I ain't
Chicken,
that fat.
they had a donut.
Oh, you talking about the joint that they got from the Boondocks? That was a skit on the Boondocks.
Was it
Yeah. They,
the chicken donut sandwich?
He called it the Luther. Yeah, they call it the Luther. Y'all remember the Boondocks? Y'all
I
remember
remember
that?
I remember the
So when
donut.
Granddad got a restaurant, he had like the, I don't know if it was chicken, but it was like something on the burger, but instead of having a bun, it was like a Krispy Kreme donut. And had like a whole bunch of
That's
strips
the
of
shit
bacon.
I would do.
That's
That's some hot
I
shit.
did not notice that was from the
No lie,
Boondocks.
since I started smoking,
You gotta Google
I get a
it. It's
Dunkin'
great.
Donuts donut.
I
almost
actually
every
had
day
that
with my
before.
tea. I eat donuts now.
I've had that before, but only had it one time.
On the sandwich, I'm gonna try that
A
because you can
sandwich?
put them with waffles and it's sweet.
It was the
That
chicken.
was
It was
the
just the
chicken.
chicken and the donut just
That's
serving
too
as the
I
bread.
think two donuts. I think two Krispy Kreme donuts is too much.
Yeah.
But I could definitely
Well,
eat one
they cut
donut
it in
with a
half.
chicken.
Yeah, they
I
cut it
can
in
wrap
half.
it. I can wrap a chicken strip with the donut and eat it at the same time. I do that.
I think we just ran into some food porn. That's gonna be our OnlyFans page.
That's gonna be that ASMR.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing like a good damn piece of chicken in between Krispy Kreme donut. Oh! I'm ready.
Yo.
Next time I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna have that. We're gonna eat it.
And that sounded very mad radical.
Oh, I'm with it.
You with it?
I'm with it.
Okay, I'm gonna get some
I'm with it.
donuts. I'm gonna get some chicken strips. And
I want to eat the donut sandwich.
Sure,
though.
we can bring.
I'll watch y'all.
We can get donuts
do
delivered
commentary.
here.
I'll do commentary while y'all
and then
do
we
it.
can do the ASMR.
Yeah.
We can get the donuts delivered here. Where's the closest Krispy Kreme at?
Why are you trying to get so active? Like, you so quick to get your foot cut off. Like, you can just taste the diabetes in that sandwich right now,
I
can't
am
you?
weak. Yeah, I need some time. I need
Nah,
a blunt.
I ain't eating that
first.
sandwich no more, man.
I need a blunt first.
Man.
Cause I'm gonna eat
That's
that.
a heart attack waiting to happen. What, a Krispy Kreme sandwich with the donut and bacon on it?
I don't
A
like
Krispy
bacon.
Kreme
I don't
sandwich.
eat bacon no more.
I don't like bacon.
I don't eat bacon no more.
Wait, they have sandwiches at Krispy Kreme?
No,
What you talking about?
I'm referring to
What you talking about?
The chicken
grandpa
donut.
thing. Yeah, but he had bacon on his. He called it the Luther.
No. The kids
No,
did
you
not
talking
have
about
the
KFC
bacon.
chicken. No, it didn't have bacon. It was just chicken in the donut, right?
It was just the chicken and the donut.
And we saying just now you see how we just rationalizing something that ain't supposed to be right.
You're the one who brought it up. Talking about it was a blue knob.
No, I just clarified the pop culture reference. That's all.
Granddad funny.
But we just walked into the next episode. You come back for ASMR and just. I can just taste the sugar.
I could just taste the crispy and the cream. Ooh, and the donut.
Yeah, that sounds like you just did a commercial for him. The crispy and the cream.
It tastes crispy, creamy, and donutty.
And donutty. Yo, this has been live from the living room. I am Jay Rich. This is this crazy one here. Tonay Marie.
Tonay.
Oh, you got to do it with the accent. Yeah, with the country.
You should be a Cracker Barrel representative.
Goddamn right.
Really? Y'all like Cracker Barrel?
Crack and barrels. I put the crack in the barrels.
Crack.
Took it back to the A's, didn't it?
Hey.
And that is Joseph, a.k.a. Joseph Got the Vibe.
Joseph got the vibes. I gotta say with my sexy voice.
Oh, did you do the tag?
Yeah, I'm like,
You sound like the tag.
no, that wasn't me, but
Oh, okay.
That was some girl from.
That's that
I need
hello.
someone to update it too.
Yeah,
That's
that's
that.
hello voice.
That's that hello. Yeah, it's the girl from the coffee shop. You had the hot chocolate. I gave you extra cream because I think you're kind of sweet.
Keep going, Alicia.
Yeah, so
Keep going, Alicia.
that's Joseph with the vibes.
Yeah.
Ladies, we got Joseph with the vibes in the building. Ladies, if you got the vibes,
don't miss.
then hit up Joseph.
Sweet.
Sweet.
yo, you wild.
I just want the world to know that
This one.
I'm
This
that
one
girl.
right here. Yo, all right. So if you think we did it right, go to the comments, leave some love. If you think we got it wrong, go to the comments, say it with your chest, be respectful. Let's do it again. Peace.
Peace.
Joseph got the vibe.
Money on my mind, I be on my own time.